In today's video, we're going over the cable management inside the Cooler Master NR200. You're going to need a couple things to get started. First, your PC obviously. Secondly, some zip ties. Last, get yourself a good drink and some patience and put on some good tunes because you'll need it. Let's go. Let's start with the cable management. What I did was route the CPU power cable through the top as it goes behind the PSU housing. As you can see, it runs behind the back. Here I'm flattening the cable, so when the PSU moves in, I'm not crushing any cables and it makes working with the other cables much more easier. Next, the chunky 24-pin cable. I used a side velcro from the PSU cage to hold it in, and the extra slack on the bottom I squished it up and used the velcro plus some zip ties to make it as compact as possible. For the GPU cables, I routed it along the edge. As for the front header and USB ports, I routed it underneath the PSU cage. Here I'm just showing you how I would plug in the PCIe into my 3080 GPU. For your CPU cooler, if you have an AIO or a tower cooler, I routed the cables to the back, as I'm doing that with the top fans too. If you found this useful so far, drop a like down below and stay tuned for some extra suggestions that I have. The front cover can be used to hide cables or place your SSDs, but I would recommend using an M.2 storage when you can, as it would be less cables overall. Then there's this. Although I love colors, I would recommend avoiding RGB if you can. With the Fuma 2, there's no RGB, therefore it's easier to manage. Here's some other alternatives if you're willing to spend, from the most expensive to the least expensive. If you're a baller, you can go with the custom cables from PS Slate, but if you're a baller on a budget, you can get some sleeved cables instead. In this case, we're using the SF750 from Corsair, as it's a lot more flexible than the SF600 ones. The last suggestion, specifically for the GPU, to avoid this bunching up, I purchased some right angle connectors, and I had to order a couple of sets as this is for a 3080. That's how I ended up managing my NR200. If you found this useful, definitely drop a like down below as I would really appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.